Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with another challenge accepted, part of a series that Shannon Allor, known as She's Crafty here on YouTube, take on each week. This week we're taking on the sketch of the week from ScrapSquad, and in addition, for mine, I'm doing this week's Crafty Basket contents for my team at Scraptastic Inspiration. So I've got a couple of challenges going on here, but the one that Shannon and I are taking on together is the ScrapSquad sketch. Let me show you. This is the ScrapSquad sketch. It is an 8.5 by 11, or it's not a sketch. It's a lift. It's a layout that was done by one of the ScrapSquad team. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is Keely Brennan. She does mostly 8.5 by 11 layouts, and that's what this is. So I'm going to, without checking, I'm going to credit her with it, and my apologies if it's someone else. The big thing that I see here are these circles, and they've got a stack of 9 because the paper's not wide enough for any more than that. I'm actually doing a stack of 8 by 2, and I'll have my photo here. I've built my cluster. These are recessed holes in here, and I chose to pop up some circles. So I've pre-done a lot of things. Let me tell you what my Crafty Basket contains. I've got to use pastels, ribbon, stickers, torn paper, and words. So given that, and taking a look at this sketch, the main elements as I see are lots of layers behind the photo, including a torn paper image here. There's a tag, and I use my tag in a little bit different place. There's this little banner of triangles, and there are some frames kind of layered behind there. I'm going to add some sequins because FTLOPP, for the love of pretty paper, is stash busting sequins this month, and I want to get in one more layout with some sequins on it. Okay, what I have done ahead of time is I've punched out these circles. I used a 2-inch scalloped punch and a 1 3/4 inch plain round punch, and I fussy cut. Oh, also, everything in here is from Paige Evans' Turn the Page. When I saw that the requirement was pastels, I realized that my favorite pastels were from this collection, and I've used things from this pad. My little banners are cut from this rainbow. I've fussy cut one of these stars. I've made my tag out of this paper. I fussy cut a bird. I cut a frame out of this paper. I think I have a circle out of this, but you get the picture. I've used nearly every pattern in there. I showed you the punches I used. I had 2 colors of ribbon that I thought went, but when I selected the tag color, I went with the aqua. I've die cut some words out of the rainbow paper, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put them. I have some baker's twine here to kind of tuck in behind these popped up. So I've already cut these, and I've popped them up on foam, and I've popped up the little triangles from the banner. This is my little tiny triangle punch. I love that. I use it mostly for card making. But one of the first things I did that I thought would take a really long time on camera is to build this photo cluster. And it's a photo of my granddaughter Ava on her 11th birthday. Unfortunately, she started running a fever. She's in taking chemo treatments for leukemia, these days for about a couple months, I guess. She's had her diagnosis, and she's doing very well. But on this day, she spiked a fever and had to be taken into the emergency room and was kept under observation. And they the big thing they were trying to do was to get her to eat something or get some calories or nutrition into her. So she's back at home now, and she really didn't want anyone taking photos of her. Her dad managed to take this one, and I ran it through filters so it's not so obvious, and I'm really not going to publish it on my main feed in Facebook. So hopefully she appreciates the page one of these days. She'll look back. I'm using I've got my tag here that I made from the papers, and right here I've got my name tag, and it has the date on it. So I've die cut a couple frames using this one is out of the star paper. I've used that die. I've used this die to cut this little frame that has the heart in it, and I cut that out of the rainbow striped paper. Let me see what else. My baker's twine is from Jelly Bean Soup, beanstalks. And I'm going to use stickers from my very well used and well loved sticker book from Turn the Page, which is the collection that I'm using papers from. I'm going to show you a trick I do to get stickers out of trash. And it's one of my favorite things to do because I really like the results. But there are some words here that I thought I'd layer in: the happy, or the so proud, or you're a champ, something like that. I've got from the only non-Paige Evans stickers are these from a planner sticker kit that say never quit and you can do this, and I may do that. I fussy cut a couple coffee cups. One of them says good things on the way. I fussy cut this star from the page that had the stars. I fussy cut a couple butterflies. Don't know how I'm going to use those yet. We'll see when I put the photo cluster on and do the main elements that I need to use. One of the things that I really liked in here was this white on white effect of these die cut leaves. And I did not die cut any leaves out of white or out of the pink. I have another page of this, and I could do pink on pink, but I may just leave it at the massive flower that I have here. So my layers here are the photo, and behind the photo I have I've matted a piece of paper, and to give it some interest, it was pink paper, but it had the branding strip. I kept the branding strip on there to give it some different colors. I cut out on one of the really busy prints, I cut the branding strip and tore it. I've done a solid piece of the rainbow paper back there, and then I cut a frame out of the rainbow paper that has the little heart, and the similar color of corally pink will show from that. I've layered in between these layers, I've used this thin foam, and I fussy cut a bird, put that there. You recognize, of course, the flower from there. We'll see. I may layer some words over these areas where the fussy cutting shows the color of the adjacent flower. So right now I've got sticky stuff on the back of here, and so let's see where we put this and how it looks. Okay, I want to overlap these, which means I need more foam over on this side, which isn't going to be overlapping those circles. So let me get that. Don't put that, just so that it would be seen, I put it on the paper because that's in the your field of vision. So let me see how this works. I can layer this over close to that edge but not on it, and it overlaps these quite nicely. It has the banner starting right at the frame. And just so that you'll know, I'm not going to waste your time going back and tacking down each one of these things, but I will use my wonderful Nuvo, I can't really, it's a craft glue, and it has a really nice fine point, so you don't have to put a separate point on it, and it doesn't seem to want to get clogged, and I've been using it for several months now. Okay, so we've got the photo cluster on there. I've got a couple things that I want to try. I like, well, actually, let's do this so that we can see the glue in action. I'm just going to put a little bead of it underneath each little banner, each little triangle in the banner, and then I'll just tuck the baker's twine up next to it and kind of leave the ends loose. Okay, so I'm going to cover up the glue so that it's a true statement that it doesn't clog. I'm going to do this, kind of tuck that down in there. You're not able to see that unless I move it up here. So we do that. I'm trying to leave a little bit of play in the twine, but I don't have a super long piece of twine, so I can't leave too much. Let's tuck it in here. That's already picked up some of the glue from the yellow. This is, I'm sure, like watching paint or glue dry, watching me do this, but I didn't want to do it ahead of time because it's something I wanted to show you how I do. I love when these little things curl, so I like to put a dot of glue on and let them kind of back into that glue so that it still looks natural but glued down. And the good thing about this glue is it dries matte and clear, so it won't be obvious that there's a little bit of glue that's exposed as this comes around. Okay, so that's done, and that's exactly the look I was going for. So now, this star becomes something of an issue. I had in mind that I would use it here, kind of at an angle. I think I like that angle because it seems to be angled and pointing towards the photo. And so I think I'm going to just put it down there. The circles underneath it are popped up, so I don't think I need to pop it up. And the color there is kind of the coral version of the pink here, so it kind of ties in with this and with the surround here. In this collection, there's a really pretty raspberry pink, and there's a more, coral type of pink, and they look beautiful together. Okay, this cup actually has the same pattern on it as the paper that this was cut from. So I thought maybe I'd do that and maybe layer these two cups there. What's good about that is that, and this normally wouldn't be good, it somewhat obscures excuse me, the photo. And since Ava didn't really want the photo to be taken, I think excuse me, capturing the memory is the important part, and the clarity, or the clarity of the photo isn't the big thing. Okay, I've got these butterflies, and I thought they might layer nicely. I like this one because it has the yellow in it, and I thought it might layer nicely on this dark blue. And again, I think, well, let me pop that up. I will pop it up in the center and kind of curl the wings to give some dimension, at least until I get it into an album. Okay, so that's good. And then it leaves me room to put a word if I want to. Now I have this other butterfly, which could go up here because it contrasts with the pink. And on this one, I think I'll just put a dot of the Nouveau wet glue and kind of curl it up there. Okay, now, next question is, where am I going to put happy birthday? I had thought that I might layer it over the blanket here, but it doesn't seem to show. What happened to the birthday? There it is. I have to remember that I need a dot for that eye, and it's probably still in the die. So I could do this, have it kind of hanging off, or I could do it here, maybe tuck it under that butterfly. Do that. I kind of like that. Otherwise, I could maybe put it out on the background paper, but I kind of have in mind something else for that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use, well, there's that butterfly kind of moving around because the glue's still wet. I'm going to use a tiny bit of this glue on just the middle three letters and kind of tuck it up in there and let it curl elsewhere where the glue isn't. So I think I'll do the same thing here. D. So it's really not totally stuck down. Okay, let me see if I can find that dot. The dot is still there in the die. I just need to poke it out, and there it is. So I'm going to put a dot where that dot goes, and see if I am good enough to get this right on there, and then to get it off of my tweezers. Let's see. It's not quite perfect, but there it is. Okay, and there's that. I like this "you can do this" sentiment. It is a clear sticker, but it has a black background to the words, so it kind of, and I thought I would layer that over the blanket, and the color of the blanket, the teal color, or the teal color of the underneath, should show through. It doesn't really show through that much, so much for that theory. I've got this Never Quit, which is clear and might work. The whole thing came off, including the outline. Let me throw that away, and it stuck to my fingers. Let's see where it would be good. I like it maybe here by this star, with actually some of the images on this circle have little swirlies and stars and diamonds. That's probably the kind of looks like a celebratory birthday paper. Okay, so the Never Quit fits nicely there, almost looks handwritten, but it overlaps, so I just snipped it off. Okay, what else? Okay, let's do this. As you can see, I've really used the heck out of this book. I still have some things. Let's get the So Proud arrow. Maybe have it bridge those two circles. And what I'm targeting now is this multicolored star and this butterfly. And as you can see, I've used the stickers that were inside those borders, but now I'm going to fussy cut. I'm going to use this speech bubble. Sometimes I'm going to leave it intact. I'm going to fussy cut this. I'm going to kind of take it a little bit. I'm leaving a tiny border around it, and that border is going to be clear. And of course the inside will be clear. And it's going to, the reason I leave the border is not for the normal reason that I leave borders when I fussy cut. It's not because it'll show, but because it adds a little bit of girth, shall we say, to the piece that I'm going to lift up, and it's not as likely to get all sticky and messed up. But I'm not making any promises. So what I do here is just kind of pick it off like that, and I find a kind of inconspicuous spot to put it right here, say behind and that's what it looks like. It gives you a nice outline. The background shows through, and the sticker itself is clear, so those little polka dots are actually showing through the border there. Okay, now we'll do the star. As I pass through. And I will probably, before it's all said and done, I'll probably use all those hearts as well. I just love doing this. This, what was in this star was this star was the floral print, the big, massive, gorgeous floral print that I fussy cut this flower from. And that paper was, I'd have to say that paper that it came in one of my Mind the Scrap kits last year, or maybe year before, is one of my, that was number one, the first paper and first collection that had me take notice of Paige Evans. I had some of her papers, but I wasn't as, I didn't have the knowledge of her design aesthetic, let's say, as that I do now. So I've put that down here, kind of in proximity to the star paper on this circle and this star. So it somewhat forms a visual triangle. And this triangle here that's formed is I consider to be the flower and these two butterflies. So you could probably make an argument for a couple other triangles that are there. But the fact that it's in the corner, I tend to really like that, that look. Okay, there's one other thing I wanted to use. Maybe there's this little border here. I really don't see a use for that here. So I'm going to call that done, except for the sequins. So let me just kind of sprinkle a few sequins. I'm going to put one up here. I have, I think 7, some odd number of sequins poured out of my, this is a little bag of sequins that I got in a Mind the Scrap kit a while back. And I love them. They're a little larger than the average sequins, and they seem very, the finish is very mirror-like, so I really love them. Let me put one down in proximity to this star. I thought about maybe putting one inside the star, but sometimes that could look a little tacky. I'm just kind of picking areas where I tend to put sequins is where there are natural breaks, like when a tag sticks up and another sticks out, creating kind of a little corner that it could be tucked into. I'm going to do something here with this name tag. It needs to be propped up. And so I'm going to pull a pop dot and back it with that so that it stays uncurled. Okay, so that fixed. Let's find a place for some more sequins. I thought I'd like one maybe here hanging off this frame that would bring attention to the heart. I love the little heart. The polka dot paper that's almost the same color as it is kind of shows up, and there's the shadow because it's raised. I love when light and shadow help reinforce my design idea. Gonna do a sequin here because there's gold there, and I think I have 2 more sequins left, so I could stop at 2, 3, 4, 5, or I could go on to 7. Let me do one down here. Do that. Can you see where that is? That's right there. And one more. Where should it go? I should be doing this live and actually ask you that. Let's see where we might want it. I'm going to say maybe right down here. It'll bring some attention to the little curl of twine. Okay, I'm going to call this done. I will probably add some journaling, or I may do a companion page that has more of the story. I have a really nice photo of the giant happy birthday poster that all of the nurses and doctors that were on duty the night that she was in signed, and then she had balloons and all kinds of things brought to her by the staff and by folks who found out that it was her birthday and she'd had to go in there. It was also my son's birthday, her dad's birthday, and that was the Children's Hospital in Atlanta was not where they intended to celebrate their joint birthdays. So hope you enjoyed this. I love this collection. I love how it helped me interpret the sketch. I've got I've got the essence of the sketch, the many layers behind the photo, and the circles off to the side with various embellishments kind of overhanging. I've got the banner at the bottom, and my crafty basket. I have pastels, ribbon, stickers, torn paper, and words. So I think we're good to go. Scrappy Kathy out. Be sure to check out Shannon's wonderful interpretation on this sketch. I can't wait to see it myself. Bye.